Good morning. In March of 1954, I was coming back from Korea, and I had been given an assignment at the 82nd Airborne Division. I was going there to go through jump school and become an airborne chaplain. And I was on my way back there, and I stopped at a big church, and the people in the church invited me to come and offer or share a moment with them. And I didn't know what I was going to share, so in the spur of the moment, I remembered a Guidepost magazine that I'd read a few weeks before, in which I read a statement by the psalmist, which went something like this: "Thou openest thy hands and satisfies the desire and need of every living creature." And I thought that was one that I'd shared, and I talked about what that would mean in their lives. And then after I got through, I went on my way, and this became a kind of mantra for me. This particular verse from the Psalms: "Thou openest thy hands and satisfies the desire and needs of every living creature." And I discovered in this passage that it talks a lot about what God is trying to provide. And it tells us a lot about God and about the way he works in his universe. And the first thing I discovered, that it says that God provides personally. It says, "Thou openest thine hands and satisfies the desire and need of every living creature." That God is personal. That God that I serve is somebody that really can touch me personally. I was talking to a friend not so long ago, and we were in a deep discussion, and we were talking about our concept of God. And I told him that my concept, the first thing I believe about God, is that God is personal, that he's interested in me as a person. And this man said, that's one of the differences between you and me, is that I can't buy in the idea that God is personal. Wow. That was what Jesus brought to the world. He brought to us the idea that God is personal, the way he talked to his Father, and he was very intimate with his Father. And he also talked with his disciples, and he told them that they were to practice their relationship with God the same as he practiced his, and that he recommended that they would understand that God is personal. Wow, that's important to me, because when I have an issue in my life, I'd like to know that I'm just not speaking to the universe, but I'm speaking to a God who is personally concerned about me. Now, I recognize that this is not a simple idea, but I believe it's the idea that the Scripture has throughout it, that the one thing that the Christian faith brings to the human being is the idea that we have a God who is personally interested in us. He's interested in the fact that maybe I don't have the energy I once had. He's interested in the fact that I'm looking at the future and not knowing exactly what it's going to bring to me. He knows that I have a concern maybe about my financial future as I do about my nation, but he's interested. He's personal. He understands this is a personal thing. And that's a wonderful experience to know that God is personal. Another thing the Psalm says to us is that God is practical. He's natural. God provides naturally. And the way it's said is, "Thou openest thine hand," the open hand. Can you think of anything more open? Thou openest thy hand. He does it natural. What's more natural than hands that are open? What's more natural than that? When the ball players hit a home run, I watch the San Francisco Giants a lot, and when they hit the home run, they go and they hit each other open hand. They don't hit each other open fist. And the places where people clench their fists, we know that they're not doing something that's natural, that they got something inside. They got an agenda inside of them, and they got anger, and they got lots of things. But the open hand, that's the picture of Jesus. Jesus says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor." The open hand. Isn't that an awesome idea, that God provides for us personally? And then the last concept that I got out of this is that God provides naturally. God provides personally, he provides naturally, and the third thing is he provides abundantly. "Thou openest thy hand and satisfies the desire and need of every human being." The desires and needs of all of us. He's willing to satisfy those. He's not a God that's clutching life to himself. He's a God that's opening himself up to us and telling us we can have an open hand, and we can discover that God can provide for us abundantly. As you notice, the way the King James said it here, open us thy hands and satisfy that desires and needs. Boy, there's a lot of difference between my desires and my needs. But this scripture says that my God is personal, and he wants to provide naturally for me, and then he'll do it abundantly, and he'll satisfy not just my needs, but my desires. Oh, what a God we have. I pray that you'll discover the power of this psalm for you. Thou openest thy hand and satisfies the desire and need of every human being. God provides personally, God provides abundantly, and God provides naturally. Wow. I hope you can get that in your soul today. God bless you.